Does your kid have the reading thing down but can't spell to save her life? I've got some word games to share that will help build up those skills without having it all go over her head. In this video, I'm going to share our family's favorite tabletop board games that build up the skills kids need to become great spellers. So let's take a look at the card games that will help build your kids' spelling muscles. Let's go! I'm Leanne and I've taught kids for almost 20 years. I help parents have fun while teaching the kids the skills that they need. So if there's something that you are interested, consider subscribing. Make sure to check out the description box below where I'll post links to all the games that I mentioned in this video. The first game I want to share is Anomia Kids. The goal in this game is to win the most cards at the end by capturing your opponent's cards. Essentially, you're flipping your cards in turn until the colored symbols on the cards match. Then you face off by citing an example of a word that begins with the same sound as the image on your opponent's card.
You do the piano and I wanted a pin.
If your opponent has a lion, make sure you say lightning. This makes kids think, what is that image? And then what is the beginning sound of that word? What letter makes that sound?
Mommy, you do the hat, so there's a hot.
What other words do I know that start with that sound? This game is great because they are recalling which letters make that sound and then producing another word of that same phonogram. There are also wild cards like this, which add to the complexity of having two different symbols paired off to face each other.
Monkey become into mug.
But when I play this game with younger kids, I do away with these wildcards initially so that they are just focused on the one task of matching. Another way to play, and perhaps the best way to introduce this game at the start, is for each player to simply go through their deck and say another word that begins with the same sound. That way kids get used to the game requirements. I'm going to share a few more games that provide kids great scaffolding to make words in a bit. But I'd love it if you could like this video and comment down below. What was the last word game you played recently? Let us know in the comments and make sure to subscribe. The next game works on a similar premise, but instead of the beginning sounds, now kids have to reframe that skill to identify the last letter of the word played. In Last Letter by Think Fun, the goal is to get rid of your cards, and players do that by calling out any word from any of their picture cards that begin with the last letter of the previous word. If someone calls out fish, the last sound might make a sh, but the last letter is H. Now check out these cards. The artwork is beautiful and the detail is amazing. And that's important because the words elicited have to come from the pictures. It's yet another way not to overwhelm kids with all the possibilities of words in the world that they could choose from, and yet challenge them to find creative ways to express the nouns that they see in these pictures. They can go from the word peak, in which the K makes the K sound, to night, in which the K is silent. Most kids are easily able to tell you what letter sounds start, but this game really makes kids slow down so that they listen and think what letter the word ends in. In my earlier video, I shared the skills kids needed to spell well. If you missed it, be sure to check it out at the end of this video. The next game is KaBAM. The object of this game is to win the most cards by using the letter combinations to make words. Now what is interesting is that more than half of this deck is filled with double letter phonograms. And when making words, you have to add at least one other letter. You can't split the combinations, but you can use the cards in any order. This game relies heavily on spelling recall, which makes it awesome for spelling practice. Kids have to remember words in which these letter combinations appear. This gets kids thinking, what sound does that letter or letters make? And what words have those letters? When my younger students play this, I start them off just using the single letter cards. And then we introduce the double letter phonograms as they learn them. Kids will have to tap into their vocabulary, their phonograms that they've learned, as well as all the other spelling skills. Now you may be wondering, how can I help my kids remember and recall those letter sounds? If you want to learn some of the letter sounds game we play, don't forget to check out our video on listening skills games up here. Scrabble Slam by Mattel is a card variety of the Scrabble game in 4 letters. This is a word ladder game, meaning you start with the letters game on the playing area, and in each round, players add a single letter from their deck of cards to form words, and the player to get rid of all their cards first wins. This game builds in some of the spelling rules that kids at the elementary to mid-elementary level are learning. What happens if I put consonants at the end of the word? How does that change the vowel sound? The last game that we possibly play the most of is Bananagrams. Check out all the different ways you can use it to teach kids, from learning to read to learning to spell, in the next video. Or check out other videos listed in the description box on using games to teach kids, and I can't wait to see you in a future one.